What's your favourite deck in PvP, bud?
I am Groot.
I am Groot.
No, I didn't get that.
Which one's I am Groot?
One I didn't have for a while. That one. I have got that one.
You like Chalga?
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever seen you play Chalga. You like this one? So you like Chalga, that's your favourite?
yeah.
And you called it I am Groot. Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the channel. So you guys might have seen that I've started uploading some other content that isn't Warcraft Rumble. I'm going to be honest with you, I've always wanted to do this. I've always wanted to try and make the channel a bit more variety. I have been in 6 years of YouTube now where I've religiously covered one game at a time. And I will tell you that it has burnt me out every single time. And I have felt like that about Warcraft Rumble. I think, look, if Warcraft Rumble had turned into the next Clash Royale, which would have been a very big ask, obviously, I probably would have been a bit better doing it because the money that the YouTube channel would have been making would have been enough to kind of sustain my motivation. But yeah, I think we all know that Warcraft Rumble has now become a bit more of a niche game, which is fine, and I love it, and I still like the game, but I just don't love it as much as I did, and I think that's okay. You know, I think that's fine. So what I'm trying to do is just do a bit more general gaming content, and I'm finally going to start another channel, which is going to be so completely different. It's just going to be talking about life stuff like politics and that kind of stuff, because I am intensely interested in politics. And although I am left-leaning politically, I like to be very balanced in how I view the world. And so I'm going to try and do that on my channel. I'm not going to be like a rage baity channel. I'm going to be genuinely trying to have like balanced discussions. So once that's set up, if you guys are interested, it'll be very podcasty style. I know that you guys sometimes like listening to that. I will link the channel once I do that. But yeah, so I've always had the intention to try and do a bit more variety on the channel. I would love for my channel to become a real variety gaming channel where I can play lots of different stuff that I'm enjoying. The reason I'm uploading Brotato right now is because I just love the game. I'm just playing it religiously. It's crazy. But yeah, look, we're going to be doing a Jaina deck today. And we're going to be looking at Exeviv, who is one of the best players in the world. He's in my guild, Honor Guards. And it is a Jaina deck that he's been playing on ladder right now, and you can see that his Jaina is level 25, so his Jaina is just about over level 8, but the rest of his units are kind of like pretty decent levels. As you can see, they are 28, 28, 28, so they're basically all 9s, but they're all 9s on the borderline of 10 as well, which is crazy. None of them are upgraded to epic, but this is like a deck that a lot of sort of mini whale players should have access to, but also it's very, very easily playable with like level 8s and potentially even level 7s. Okay, so the deck is Jaina Clearcasting, Poison on our Defias Bandits, Mighty Throw on our Griffin Rider. It is the Execute. I can never remember the Execute talent name. What is that Execute talent name? I think it is Killing Spree. So basically, if you kill something with Execute, the next one that you get is one less, because there are no other Horde minis. Or there is actually, no, you either get this or you get a Chain Lightning lower cost. But basically, you're going to either get one of your spells at a much lower cost. And actually, if you kill something with Execute, could you get a free Chain Lightning? I don't know if it can be reduced to lower than 1, but no less than 1, no. So you'd have to kind of use Jaina or Clearcasting to kind of reduce the spell costs. But either way, we have Bristleback Quillbore. The only talent I've never used is the Storm's Reach talent that he has on Chain Lightning, but I'm going to give this deck a go anyway and try it out. But that's just a cool, interesting one. We'll see how that plays. Right, let's jump into his first game here. And we're versus Margeth. Let's see if my Epic Pen is writing. I need to make sure that Epic Pen is actually loaded up. Epic Pen. So I can do some writing on the screen, guys. This is important. The writing on the screen is important for learning. Display 1, okay. Boom. Okay, so he's playing versus and it's interesting, he's playing on Arathi Basin. So we know that this is an interesting level for Old Murkai. Old Murkai tends to get bottlenecked on this level here unless you take this tower down. We also, I'm not sure if this is on the new modifiers, but obviously Old Murkai not so good on this current modifier rotation because of Bounty Board. Bounty Board means if you kill 5 units, you get some gold. So Old Murkai makes it quite easy to get gold back on a lot of your minis. So actually, Old Murkai is not that great in this meta. Okay, so we're going to drop a ghoul. Ghoul is a good kind of throwaway unit. We can just drop him, and he will start to walk his way out. We have our Defias Bandits that we're going to split down the middle. Kind of dropping a lot because they're very cheap units that we can kind of get away with dropping. Storms... Okay. I have never seen that. Storm's Reach just did that. That is... I'm going to look at that back. That is actually insane. Storm's Reach in the middle. Dang. Wow. I wish it showed you how far you could actually bounce it. Would that not just be like as a secondary ring on the outside that doesn't, a little bit like you get with Blast Radius on Living Bomb? Why can't we have that with Storm's Reach on Chain Lightning? That's kind of stupid that you have to kind of guess. Anyway, we're going to drop another Ghoul, which is a great way to deal with the Prowler, and then we're going to execute that, so we should get a reduced execute cost. That is, as you're seeing, one of the problems with Safe Pilot right now. It doesn't immediately kill the unit that it drops on, so Jaina can get like 1 or 2 more basic attacks in that situation. But really, really good gold pressure. We haven't done any execute cycles on the base yet, but you can see that executing can be used for 1 gold in this situation, which is kind of crazy. And we have control of the central platform without Dark Iron Miner, which means that our miner's going for it for free. It's another really insane Chain Lightning onto the old Murkai, but it means we do lose a little bit of value using the Horde talent, the Killing Spree talent on our what's it called, the Execute, but that's okay. It's not the worst thing in the world. We're going to split up our Defias Bandits again. Defias Bandits are a little bit of a throwaway unit in some cases. Like, they're a great defensive unit, but they're also just a good cycle unit. Like, it's a 1-cost cycle unit that's going to stun, which is just good in most situations. All right. So we get another cycle. There's a really quick cycle in this deck. Like, you have a lot of low-cost minis, so you can kind of constantly cycle things out. If you want to, you can basically get double miner out in a very short span of time. You don't have to use your expensive cards here. You can essentially cycle for what is about 4 gold, which is kind of insane. So putting pressure on the base, you'll notice that we have not used Execute on the base yet, like we would traditionally have seen in previous Jaina decks. It's much more about control of the map. And you can notice that we're using the Chain Lightning sometimes to take out the Kobold Miner. Won't be the case here. We'll let him get the entire gold mine for free in this situation, but Storm's Reach versus Old Murkai is pretty solid. We're going to see another Chain Lightning there just to one-shot the Old Murkai, which is perfectly fine. Safe Pilot comes down on top of the pretty much everything. We're going to execute to get the kills, and those kills are going to allow us for, again, a reduced Horde mini cost. That's going to be a Chain Lightning reduction, or it's going to be a execute reduction. But we're just getting ship damage in, and actually the units doing the majority of the damage here are actually our Ghouls for the most part. Ghouls dealing a significant chunk of damage to the base. Now, obviously, not worth to just randomly execute on top of them because we don't have the Bloodthirsty talent here. We're running Killing Spree, but we will drop Jaina and get the execute down anyway. So very interesting, really, really cool. Let's look at another game that Exeviv had. Okay, guys, let's do a little review of some of the games that I played with this deck. I had an issue with loading into a game. Right, so we're going into a Blood Mage Thanos deck here. Now, let's explain some of the basic concepts that I see. This is just my understanding of the deck, by the way, after having played it just a little bit. Generally, when you open up on a level with this deck, you can kind of just spam some of the units that are low cost. So like in this situation, Defias Bandits, we can play here. We split them down the lanes like this. Very low cost, very low risk. Doing so, they'll probably be useful somewhere down the line. We can drop a Griffin Rider here because it's going to do something we can usually set up else. We can then also drop a Kobold Miner here or a Kobold Miner behind the Griffin Rider so we can have a chance at getting the gold mine. In general, you can open up with something like that, very low commit, very low risk, and you can get away with it. With Jaina, so we have Jaina in our pocket, generally when we want to combine that with our Execute, or we want to combine that with our Chain Lightning, so you've got to look for opportunities. This deck is about control. It is primarily a control deck, okay? So I'm going to sneeze. Oh, I'm always sneezing in the middle of... silly me. Why did I say silly me? That's hilarious. So it's all primarily a control deck, and then you have the Execute for that burst damage at the end if you need it. So we're going to jump into this. Split our Defias Bandits. Nothing much to do. We're going to see him play a Blood Mage Thanos. So we're actually going to drop a Jaina very early on here. He also goes for a pretty aggressive, what's it called? That thing. Quillbore. Now we're going to execute straight away to try and get value out of the spell while Jaina's still alive, which we did. We take down the Quillbore, and as you can see, our ghoul does buy us a lot of time for our own Quillbore to start dealing damage to the Blood Mage Thalnos. Blood Mage Thalnos has got a massive stacking attack speed buff here, but hopefully in a few moments we'll have enough time to just try and execute this down. And as you can see, does it with a single Jaina hit. He doesn't have resistant, and Jaina then trades evenly with the Frostwolf Shaman. We've kind of, I would say, gone relatively even with Thalnos there. I could go back and work out the gold, but I would say overall about relatively even. He's probably a couple of gold ahead. Now, I know what we're running into. It's like a classic Thalnos buff deck. So we're just now going to look to play a Quillbore as early as possible in this situation. Look to make him use spells that he doesn't want to use. And as you can see here, he's dropped pretty much everything in this situation. We are going to execute and then use Chain Lightning straight away, and that basically does the job for us. Now, he's used Cheat Death here, which is fine. Cheat Death is not going to get him anywhere. He will then use, obviously, the... he'll use... what's it called? Holy Nova? God, I can't remember every single card for some reason. Holy Nova, but again, he's not really getting anything done with this Thalnos right now. The Thalnos is getting stuck on our base, and we've got a little bit of chip damage. He's changed tactics at this point. He's going for a little bit more of an aggressive, sort of defensive Thalnos in this situation. You can see he is going to drop a couple of Arcane Blasts. They will not protect his Thalnos, and even though he is going to be dropping Arcane Blasts in this scenario, we should be getting a bit of damage down with our Quillbore and our Griffin Rider. If he has to use another Arcane Blast here, it's 4 gold when most of my stuff is basically already dead. I'm actually going to drop an aggressive execute in this scenario. Probably not the best idea to do so, but I just thought get as much damage down as possible because I now know it is quite easy to defend against this guy. He's basically running a very classic Thalnos deck. It is slow, and we've got plenty of stuff in our kit that can kind of slow him down and make it difficult for him to win. So we're going to do this. We're going to drop a Quillbore behind them. We are then going to use a Chain Lightning, and it deals with the Frostwolf Shaman, which is fine. And we are yet again going to find ourselves at his base. He's used most of his defensive stuff. He's used as a way of just trying to buff up his Thalnos, and didn't really deal with the minis properly. So yeah, we end up getting a really nice bit of damage down here. And as you can see, I thought the execute there was going to be enough. I then think that the Chain Lightning is going to be enough, which it isn't. But essentially, it is like 1 Chain Lightning or 1 execute away from going down. He knows it as well, so he's not even going to bother defending. And we end up getting a hit with Jaina to finish this game off. So that was quite a nice game into a very unusual deck. Thalnos is not that great for a reason. It's a little bit too slow, and he's not tanky enough to be like a proper Death Bull comp. So that's why Thalnos isn't the best at this point in time. Okay, we're going into an Arathi basing game now versus a Maiev. Now, look, with Maiev, it is pretty clear what Maiev wants to do in almost every game that you play. Maiev wants to take this tower on Arathi Basin, and in general wants to take towers whenever you play her. You will see the same Maiev tactic over and over again. So be prepared when you're playing Maiev to just have some stuff left in the tank to defend your tower. If you let Maiev get your tower for free, it's very difficult to come back because they have a lot of control with their unbound spam. So again, in this situation, it's good. It's fine to just drop a low commit mini like a ghoul, split our Defias bandits, whatever. Just get some stuff on the map, force the opponent to make a move. Now he's gone all in, by the way, straight away. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my Chain Lightning. We're going to use our Defias bandits to defend. He does actually manage to get a what's it called? This thing, Maiev off, but he won't take the tower on that first push, which is great. So despite all of that, we've technically come out okay because we have quite a decent amount of gold left of minis on the field. So we have our Jaina, we have our ghoul. We're actually just going to straight up Chain Lightning here. And this is where Storm's Reach is really nice. Just look how insane Storm's Reach was. And that's in that case, we just cleared up everything with a Storm's Reach. With a Storm's Reach Chain Lightning. He's going to go again for this side tower. And it's okay if you lose the side tower, by the way. You know, you can take it back with Execute with this deck relatively easily. You're going to see here another opportunity. He will take it with the Welt Burst, but we take it back very quickly. And as long as he doesn't actually capture the tower, it's perfectly fine. We just don't want him to have the opportunity to launch attacks from that tower with ease. And he is actually back to square one at this point. It's a full HP tower in my favor, so he's essentially back to square one. And if you have a look, I've not really been doing anything special. My minis have just been slowly putting pressure on his base. Somehow, oh yes, he took the tower, so he did actually deal a little bit of damage to my base, and we've still got to deal with the Barrett, the taking tower strategy of, essentially that will still deal damage to the base, and you have to be aware of that. And that's what Maevs will tend to do in this meta. They will just be looking to deal damage to your base via killing your turrets. So if you can defend your turrets, that's always good. But you can always retake it and just deal that damage straight back. In that situation, I felt like I had a gold advantage, so what I ended up doing was just throwing down a execute in that, right there. Didn't work out the best, but it did okay. We've got another push with the skeletons and the Quillbore, but not enough from his push to really have any major effect, and we have a very healthy looking tower left overall. You can see there's the safe pilot here as well. Safe pilot just gets taken down. That extended range, I don't know if you noticed, but you can with, I don't know if you've ever seen this before. Go back a little bit. Extended range from Griffin Rider can attack over the wall, over the river, and that's actually quite good at dealing with units on the central island. Going to split our Defias Bandits once again, but we're in a pretty good spot at this point. Like, he's taken so much damage. We'll drop a Quillbore just to stop his Dark Iron Miner actually doing anything in this scenario. And as you can see, once again, don't even really need to use the Chain Lightning there, but we're going to use it anyway just to stop this guy from getting any real damage on the tower. Now, he's going all in once again. He probably will be able to take the tower, since we don't actually have a lot stopping him from doing so, but actually he doesn't get the tower. That's actually kind of insane. He has got two Quillbores here. We're going to go for an attempted, like this, Storm's Reach once again. Because he's got a slightly low level safe pilot, we do also get a one shot on the safe pilot with the Jaina, which is absolutely insane. And again, it's just about the fact that we've got so many minis on the field. He's using a load of resources that are essentially just dying to the tower, that we have a massive net gold advantage in terms of minis on the field. And he's going to go for the tower once again. We're going to use the Chain Lightning just to make sure that the Maev won't actually kill my Jaina in that sweep. But in the end, we can just go for another execute on the base here that basically deals almost a similar amount of damage than taking a tower would. And it's all about control with this deck. Very easily take down a Maev, even though, admittedly, slightly low level Maev. But nonetheless, the tactic's still important to deal with. Okay, we're to Hillsbrad Foothills again, and we are just going to go for a very non-committal start once more. So, again, using Griffin Rider. Apologies if I stutter when I forget the mini names. Sometimes when you're casting and you're trying to talk quickly, it can be a bit difficult. But that's by the way, if you've never dealt with Rend using a Quillbore and a Griffin Rider before, it's quite a simple technique, but I'll just show you. Essentially, Rend's coming in to attack, but he hasn't actually started his attack animation yet. What you want to do is once he's locked on, you can then get him to turn by using a Quillbore. That means that your Griffin Rider stays safe, and your Griffin Rider will very quickly deal with the Drake, because the Drake is resistant, not armored, so the Drake will very quickly get taken down, and then obviously Griffin Rider stays safe from Rend overall. He had a set of Harpies coming in, so that's a good opportunity to use our Chain Lightning, which is what I think we end up doing. I think we end up doing the Chain Lightning. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, we do. Just because Griffin Rider will take a while to get through the Rend at this point. Now, Rend should actually end up killing my Jaina, but he doesn't actually get the hit off. Never mind. The Pyromancer will clean things up. And by the way, I actually think Pyromancer's got a bit of a place in the meta. I kind of want to try Pyromancer out with the Blaze of Glory talent. The reason the Blaze of Glory talent is quite interesting is because it is good against Safe Pilot and good against a couple of other things. It's obviously horrendous versus Quillbore, though, so that's just something to be aware of. That, like, I think Wellpegs and Safe Pilot, Blaze of Glory will instantly kill them, but obviously versus Quillbore, it's completely wasted talent, so you just got to be aware of that. So I didn't really know what this guy was playing, so I kind of went for an attack on the base. Now, having seen he drops a Gargoyle directly behind his Rend, I'm like, I need to execute that straight away. I really need to pay attention to this. And I thought maybe I would kill, if I was lucky, maybe I would kill the Gargoyle. Actually, that was a bit of a bad move on my part. The Chain Lightning just ended up killing my Jaina off, which wasn't great. We take a bit of damage from the Gargoyle, but not a huge amount, so I can kind of survive with what happened there. A little bit of a learning lesson for me. And he's now going for my side tower, so I'm actually going to straight up execute the Pyromancer. I actually used my what's it called? I used my Chain Lightning a little early there. If I just held onto my Chain Lightning a little bit, it would have been fine. But we're going to drop a Quillbore right behind his Pyromancer. His Pyromancer, I think, has got Pyroblast, because I took a lot of damage on my Quillbore there, given my Quillbore is resistant. So Pyroblast is his talent. So we know that if we can just draw the first hit from a Pyromancer, we're going to be in a good spot. Another Chain Lightning onto Harpies. I have no qualms using Chain Lightning on Harpies. The reason being is that it is, without Rend, it's gold positive for me. So if there is no Rend up, the Harpies play with Chain Lightning as gold positive. If there is a Rend up, as long as they aren't mining Harpies, it is gold neutral. If it's mining Harpies, then we'll be gold positive most of the time anyway. Now, obviously, I think Jaina ends up surviving here, so Jaina herself is probably good enough to take down this gargoyle, but we just decide to what's the word I'm looking for here, guys? We decide to kill it off with Execute so that we get the Execute talent value, because then we can then get a reduced Execute cost, and we go straight for the tower at this point. There was a reason that we're going for the tower. It's just because we're in a very strong position on the map. We go for the tower because he has to respond. We've got a lot of minis working their way over towards the tower right now. And yeah, we have no real worries by just straight up using Execute at this point, because we know what's in his arsenal. We know that Execute's good versus his main damage threat, which is going to be the Gargoyle. So if we just want to use Execute on the tower whilst we have Jaina available to get the empowered Execute, perfectly fine in this situation. And he's just dropped Ren, so I just know that he's spent 6 gold. He spent 6 gold to spawn a Ren, which is a slow flyer. I can then very quickly respond to it with my Griffin Rider and my Jaina, which, as you can see here, does really well. And I just spawn a ghoul in front to make sure that he can't kill my Jaina off. Not that it matters, because we can just use Chain Lightning and end the game. So as you hopefully have learned from this, it's all about control with this Jaina deck. It's about controlling the map and slowly just out-trading your opponent in terms of value all the time using Chain Lightning, ghouls, Jainas, Griffin Riders. They're all great value traders, and that's kind of the point in this deck. And I hope you guys learned something from it. It's really cool. I've been using it. I climbed 800 honor just today, just playing it. Jaina's now my highest rated deck, which is great. I'm going to push a little bit harder PvP at the moment because I haven't played PvP in a little while. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you soon.